unity has been our only strength.
And from overseas, Netanyahu confirms bomb attacks on Yemen are just the beginning. Welcome to News at 8, this Friday edition. My name is Luke Majumba Naitwe, and on sign language is Raymond Tonina. Starting us off today, Kanungu District has today hosted the International Community of Banyachigezi ICOB Convention, a significant event that brought together members of parliament, religious leaders, community members, and other stakeholders. This year's convention, running from December 27th to 29th, is themed Building Partnerships for Socio-Economic Transformation. The event has attracted prominent attendees, including His Excellency the President, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who attended as the chief guest, and in his address, President Museveni addressed pressing issues affecting both the country and Kanungu District. We have the report.
The Banyachigezi community from around the country has gathered in Kanungu District, Uganda for their 27th International Convention.
Your Excellency, obuweija kutongozaho ekibineeki ekya ICOB 2029 tukavuganira Kabale kandi twakakasa koli omunyakigezi kashushu.
The convention was graced by His Excellency the President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who emphasized the importance of wealth creation in Kigezi District, urging residents to focus on income-generating activities to improve their livelihoods.
So, kuna kuziriki waranajenti mwini imwe ebyente yinji mbirijo. Ente yinji mzirikira ba Museveni n'abagaiga. Imwe muri sente z'amate. And that's what actually changed them. Enterprise selection. Correct enterprise selection. Abajungu bakaba leto urwanju okunju muhinge pamba manyimugire nayentu hatagira wahinga pamba nyabushozi tinkwenda kurira pamba teni mu kibaro imwe mukoreje. So kuna koze experiment ejo from 89 to 1995. I was sure that these people can get out of poverty.
In the same light, the President voiced that tea planting is not only a profitable venture, but it also contributes to the country's economic growth. He urged all farmers to take advantage of this opportunity and invest in tea planting.
Abantu abakayonza kan bahinga majani bali abo mu rushozi kabatagahinga konka mwiro kumanye kibaro okuza kugera ekiweha aboko wahurira ngo muhikemwe y'amajani wasa kwiha miliyoni ebebu yabe ekiriki uko wasa kwiha miliyoni ni mutwaro 20 otohirezo kozosa ati koko bene amajani hiki 10 wiha miliyoni 12 wabo oyine hiki gana nuha miliyoni 120 wabo hikaru 10 nobuli mugeiga nuha miliyoni 1 na miliyoni 200. So amajani garamusi ubuga ebeyo yabetaka gwiri amajani garamusente wahinga menji.
In his address, President Museveni stressed the importance of prioritizing free education in Kigezi to curb the alarming rate of school dropouts. This call to action underscores the need for collective efforts to ensure that every child has access to quality education regardless of their socio-economic background.
Out rate at P.
Your Excellency, dropout rate y'abana betu at least yaha % abarukule mwagum
40%.
Your Excellency.
Okay. Hurrah. Abana makumyana ligana kwa komi umchamushanju baremo kweyongera abo school fees. District says nka bukedi 80%. Mbona honoreva imwabanya kigezi aba ikobe kintu cyo mukitwatse tukirwanise turebe ngo twataho real free education in government schools.
President Museveni furthermore emphasized the importance of family planning and economic growth in addressing Uganda's population growth rather than attributing it to immunization and poor health hygiene.
Twatandika na bonna bagembebwe abantu bona batsirukwe immunization for all. Ati mukarebe kyakozire. The population has gone from 14 million to now 46 million. Ahabwenki hawa immunization. Tende kindi ebindi byakozirwe haribe ebindi byakozirwe nka nutrition nka hygiene tubikakozirwe iki konga kali akacha kutwakozere kamwe konga niko kaletire population ukweyonja.
Museveni oye! Museveni oye! Aikobo oye!
Well, elsewhere, the Uganda Professional Science Teachers Union, OPS2, has officially commenced its second annual Delegates Conference in Kampala. This two-day residential event has drawn science teachers and representatives from across the country to review the annual reports and strategies on strengthening the union. The national chairperson, Vincent Long, officially opened the conference, calling on delegates to prioritize unity and cooperation.
Solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong.
Today, the Uganda Professional Science Teachers Union, OPS2, officially kicked off its second annual Delegates Conference, which is being held in Kampala with an aim of presenting strategic plans for the continued development of the union.
It is a day where the OPS2 delegates come to put heads together to devise means of making OPS2 the best union in Uganda, East Africa and the world at large.
According to Mugaiga Aaron, the General Secretary of the Union, the conference takes place every single year, having representatives of science teachers from across the country.
Today, the 27th, the Uganda Professional Science Teachers Union has opened the second annual Delegates Conference. Normally, this is a conference that takes place every year and brings together all the representatives of science teachers across the country. We host it at the end of the year to present reports on the operations of the union over the year. And that is what this conference has come for.
The National Chairperson Uganda Science Professional Teachers Union, OPS2, Vincent Long, adds that it is constitutional for them to hold such a gathering, though due to the high number of members, they are forced to only invite delegates.
This is one of the events that crowns up the year for the Science Union, that is Uganda Professional Science Teachers Union. And according to Labour Act, CAP 228, it mandates us to hold such a gathering. It's supposed to be the annual general meetings, but the number of UPUSTU leaders, the members have grown significantly. We are approximating 10,000 members now. And there is no single stadium that can host those with the vigor that they have now due to the successes that this union has registered.
In his opening remarks to the delegates, the national chairperson urged members to embrace unity and cooperation, since it's what has kept them running.
We must endeavor to foster the culture of unity and cooperation in both the circle and the union, because unity has been our only strength. Unity has been our only strength. When the enemy exploits a gap of entering and dividing us, that's when we will lose it out. So don't listen to voices there.
While he was officially opening the second annual Delegates Conference 2024, Vincent called on delegates to be guided by solidarity.
I want to implore you, as we deliberate and make decisions during this conference, let us remain guided by our union's value of solidarity, justice, equality, and let us continue to strive for a better future for all of our members. Let us emerge from this conference more united, more determined, and more committed for our noble cause. Allow me to declare the workshop of both the SACCO and the union, and then the AGM of the SACCO and the ADC of the union, which is tomorrow, officially open.
For the union makes us strong.
We want to echo this to our members out there, and that you are being rightly represented by the delegates that have come, and they will take back the report to you.
Well, elsewhere, the Right Reverend Kosea Odongo, the Anglican Bishop of Soroti Diocese, delivered a powerful sermon at St. Peter's Cathedral in Soroti City, urging husbands and wives to live in harmony and reconcile with one another. In his address, the bishop also called for peace among politicians and emphasized the importance of unity and forgiveness within the community.
During a service at St. Peter's Cathedral in Soroti City, Right Reverend Kosea Odongo urged husband and wives to live in harmony and reconcile with one another. The clergy at St. Peter's Cathedral shall conduct one service daily during this festive season until the new year of 2025. However, Christians' hymns will be sung until December 31st of this month. Right Reverend Kosea Odongo, the Bishop of Soroti Diocese, in his sermon called for reconciliation. The Bishop also urged politicians not to fight each other but to love one another.
Are you a politician who has been fighting other politicians? Today, that quarreling should end. I am saying let there be reconciliation between husbands and wives who have been quarreling, between the politicians who have been enemies. Even as we enter the new year of election, wonderful counselor has been born, the Prince of Peace, come to us, the King of all glory, greatest politician, the great I am, the one who brings peace to every family and to all individuals. We should live soberly, righteously, and godly in this present age.
Bishop Odongo urged Ugandans to be sober.
God is calling all men to salvation. This is a call to denying ungodliness and worldly lust. This is a call to live soberly. Everybody shout and say, live soberly.
He called upon the Christians to continue contributing towards the completion of the construction of St. Peter's Cathedral, Soroti City.
As you come on the first, be ready to take a card. Then you begin to look for your pledge. How long shall we continue doing this when God wants to bless us? Listen to me. St. Peter's Day, we must finish. The engineers must tell us every little amount of work that is to be done, how much it will cost, so that we apportion it and we do it.
Stephen Ochola, the district chairperson LC5, exteriorly expressed happiness that he celebrated Christmas.
Today we're celebrating Christmas, the birth of Jesus Christ, our Savior, and we're happy that God has kept us from last year's Christmas up to today. And we have our happiness that at least with the protection of Jesus Christ, we cross the new year of 2025 safely.
George Michael, the former LC5 chairperson, Soroti City District, urged Ugandans to forgive one another.
I want to thank God for what He has done to everybody who is alive now, and those whom He has called, let them rest in peace. As we celebrate this day, I think let us try to avoid the mistakes we made in the previous years, and forgive all those ones whom you think have annoyed you.
That's a very important one that will even usher us into that bishop's moment. We don't want to move from that spirit. So let's have a look at that bishop's moment.
To all youth and adults, those using social media, I urge you to use it respectfully and meaningfully. Some people have made it a habit to abuse others on social media. I encourage you to use it for networking, research, and education, not for attacking each other. They have even started abusing religious leaders using social media. I wish you a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year 2025. In the name of God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
That aligns with our campaign here, Safe Screens, Safe Kids. So please take it up. It is very important to make proper use of the gadgets you have. And that is, of course, social media. It has come as a disaster, but of course it also has its advantages. But please make sure you learn the best way to make use of it. It can help you or it can put you down. Thank you so much, His Grace, the Archbishop, for that wonderful message of making us know how to make use of these gadgets. Well, we'll take a short break and return with more news. Oh yes, welcome back. You are still watching News at 8 here on Church of Uganda Family TV. Now, elsewhere, members of Parliament for Aswa County, Simon Peter Wokorach, has asked the government to formulate a regional development strategy to deal with the high poverty levels in the Acholi sub-region. Wokorach proposed the initiative of the Northern Uganda Social Action Fund directed towards supporting the livelihood of people of Greater North region. We have the report.
The Northern Uganda Social Action Fund is a government intervention aimed at eradicating poverty from the formerly Lila war-affected regions of Acholi, Lango, Teso, West Nile and Karamoja. The Northern Uganda Social Action Fund project is meant to provide improved inputs, investments, capital and value addition equipment. Currently, the government is involved in the implementation of the Northern Uganda Social Action Fund. However, despite its effort, the Acholi sub-region has continuously ranked as the poorest in Uganda at 68%.
Policy development model is coming. That is not enough. There has been PRDP. That is not enough. There has been no sub 1, 2, 3. That is not enough. As Acholis, we are saying we need more affirmative action for our people. And that's why we are saying, as the Greater North, Lao sub-region, Karamoja sub-region, Acholi sub-region, and West Nile sub-region, we are saying we need no sub 4. And no sub 4 should be directly to support the livelihood of our people. Money must be in the pocket. We must be productive.
Honorable Simon Peter, Member of Parliament representing the people of Aswa County, is proposing that the initiation of the Northern Uganda Social Action Fund for specifically to support the livelihood of the people for the Greater North. Honorable Simon Peter emphasized that Acholi sub-region is toiling behind other regions in the country, stressing the need for intensified efforts to bridge the gap and bring it at par with the rest of the nation.
If government is looking at the other regions, if you're giving 1 tractor to Tesu, you must actually give 100 to Acholis. If you look at the mechanization at a certain level, you must look at a bigger level with a big specs to bring Acholi into a same page with the rest of the sub-regions. We are still very backward in terms of development. In terms of mindset, the impact of that war is still with us. It is living with us. It is sleeping with us as Acholis.
The Aswa County MP has also expressed his frustration with the people who have continued to deter the success of most government programs intended for alleviating the Acholi people from poverty.
There has been so many initiatives from the government to help Acholi get out of poverty. So many projects came in place to get Acholi out of poverty. But somehow you find a bottlenecks. People have lost trust. There are people who are not trustworthy. There are people who sleeps in between the government initiative and the people on the ground, the beneficiaries themselves, who are most vulnerable. They went through a lot of stuff that I don't even want to remind them what they went through.
According to the communications from the Parliament of Uganda, the Northern Uganda Social Action Fund for program was set for the roll out in July 2023 to the tune of $290 million.
Oh, well, thank you there. Now, 2024 has been a year marked by corruption in Uganda. On several occasions, the President, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, has come out to warn corrupt leaders to change. According to the Inspector General's report, Uganda loses about 10 trillion shillings due to corruption annually, despite the existence of anti-corruption agencies. As a country, we continue to experience an overwhelming corruption crisis. In an exclusive interview with the political analyst at the Anti-Corruption Coalition Uganda, Christine Biringirio underlines some of the challenges that institutions go through that prevents the effective fight of this vice. Let's take a look.
In light of the recent troubling events such as the unexplained disappearance of funds from banks and the unlawful appropriation of PDM resources by certain government officials, Christine Birinjiro, a policy analyst and program manager at the Anti-Corruption, highlighted several challenges that various institutions encounter which hinder their ability to fight corruption effectively.
The biggest challenge to these institutions that are supposed to fight corruption is they are robbed of their independence as they do their work, as they implement their mandate. We know the Constitution provides for a rule of law, where we have the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary operating independent of each other as they implement their mandate. But oftentimes we have seen other arms, especially the executive arm of government, interfere with the work of the judiciary and then of the legislature. You will recall that the previous IG, Inspector General of Government, noted that as she tried to fish out the big fish, they hid behind the president's back. But also moving on, when the current IGG was assuming office, we saw the president advising her to go slow on the corrupt, on the lifestyle audit, because at least the corrupt still invest within the country.
She also cited policies including the passing of the crime bill that can be adopted to combat corruption in the country.
The one key policy that we need to have out as a country and as soon as possible is the proceeds of crime bill. This is still a bill, but if we can pass this bill, it would be able to make sure that we capture the proceeds or the loot of the corrupt, so that they are not able to enjoy the proceeds from corruption. What happens right now is that under the Anti-Corruption Act, the institutions that are fighting corruption, the Inspectorate of Government, the ODPP, can only recover assets from the proceeds of corruption after convicting an individual. And so that means for the whole process, before the conviction has been secured, the proceeds or the properties or the assets cannot be touched.
She goes ahead to emphasize that the passing of the crime bill will enable the recovery of assets required from corruption, slowly reviving the economy.
They are the proceeds of corruption. And so what the IG again is relying on is for the voluntary conviction-based asset recovery. This is where individuals have been identified and they are willing to negotiate with the IG and pay up, maybe release some of the assets so that they do not continue with the path of conviction. But this, the percentage of non-conviction based asset recovery is very low. It is actually less than 10% in Uganda. So with the passing of the proceeds of crime bill, that would mean we would be able as a country to proceed and proceed against the assets of the corrupt, even without going to court. For as long as we know the assets are there, we know that they are the proceeds of corruption, they have been bought with this money from corruption, then would be able to get these proceeds and, sell them and bring back the money and apply it to what it is supposed to have done.
Ms. Vyirinjiro states that the underfunding of both the health and education sector as a result of corruption affect the quality of both health and education, thus resulting to a disengaged citizens of the country and causing the underdevelopment of the country.
The health sector and the education sector are grossly underfunded. And so the quality of education and the quality of health that this child or this citizen receives is not adequate to make them be a citizen in future that can effectively contribute to the growth and development of their country.
She called upon the public to join in the fight against corruption.
Oh yes, now we move on. As we count about 96 hours, the end of 2024, Church of Uganda Family TV continues to engage church leaders to reflect on the impact of various church organizations. Today, we spoke to Reverend Andrew Agaba, the Provincial Director of Household and Community Transformation, who shared insights on their milestones, challenges, and the plans for 2025, while urging families to save during this festive season.
As we draw closer to the end of the year 2024, Church of Uganda Family TV is closely engaging church leaders to assess the impact of different church organizations and arms. Today we spoke to the Provincial Director of Household and Community Transformation, Reverend Andrew Agaba, who started by explaining the role of the Directorate.
The Directorate of Household and Community Transformation has programs that are focused on socio-economic transformation of our individuals in the Church of Uganda, our households in the country, and every other community that we get in touch with. We have 3 mandates. One is to enhance the potential of households for sustainable development. Secondly is to ensure proper care and nurture of natural resources for socio-economic development.
Reverend Agaba shared some of the significant milestones achieved in the year 2024.
We started with a retreat that helped us to refocus our direction by looking at the challenges of 2023, looking at the achievements and formulating plans for achieving in the year 2024. We also celebrate that at Bira Vocational Training College, though we have not reached at the first floor, but we have commenced the construction of a new administrative block that we have tagged Kazimba Administration Block.
He also mentioned some dioceses that have performed well in regards to household development.
We also continue to celebrate a lot of things that have taken place in different dioceses. We know, like the Diocese of Ankole, they have started processing and producing coffee, which they are selling both in Uganda and outside Uganda. We also celebrate other dioceses like South Ankole that have done well. We also celebrate other innovations that are being made, like in Central Uganda. We celebrate the achievements made in Kumi.
Notably, the director notes some of the challenges faced in 2024, putting some emphasis on lack of funds to smoothly help in operations of the directorate.
We have seen an economic decline in the country. Of course, our work is facilitated by money, and there is instability in the economic situation of our country, Uganda. Especially the year 2024 has not gone smoothly. We also had a challenge of decline of prices for tea, especially in the Kigezi region and Ankole, those who are dealing in tea. We have seen tea gardens being uprooted. We have seen some of them have lost their jobs. Some factories are closing, and this means a lot on the economic situation within our country.
In 2025, Reverend Agaba says there will be a lot of fundraising to ensure that there is enough money to have activities done.
We want to gather our strengths and continue establishing sustainable development projects. Like in the year 2024, we rally everybody's efforts to come and support us. We would like to establish a new accommodation facility at Lueza Training and Conference Center that befits the 21st century, which will improve our accommodation within that facility.
He shares his end-of-year message by encouraging people to save money during the festive season, since it will be required at the beginning of the year, like for school fees.
We know that Christmas is being celebrated in different areas of our country, and as a Director of Household and Community Transformation, there are going to be massive parties within households. I know people are going to spend, celebrate, and do a lot of things. But we urge you that there's school fees for the coming term. There's a lot of expenditure due to take place within the coming month. We need to do things sparingly. For those that are engaged in saving schemes, please reserve some resources that will support you as we start the new year.
Yes, now we take a look at what is happening overseas. Israel has carried out a series of airstrikes in Yemen, hitting targets including the international airport in the capital Sana'a, where people ran for cover. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the raids were part of a campaign of retaliation, which was only starting for recent strikes on Israel by Yemen's Houthi fighters who are backed by Iran. It's reported that at least 2 people were killed at the international airport. The port of Hodei was also hit, along with other sites described by Israel as military targets.
Panic and fear in Sana'a airport. People rushing to leave the building after an Israeli airstrike. The IDF said they hit Houthi military targets there. The port city of Hodeidah was also hit. Houthi officials said the strikes were barbaric, a crime against the Yemeni people. The Israeli military said it struck targets used by the Houthis to smuggle Iranian weapons into the region. This is the second Israeli airstrike on the Houthis in Yemen in less than a week. The Houthis, an Iran-backed armed group which controls northwestern Yemen, began their attacks shortly after the start of the Gaza war in October last year, initially targeting international shipping, acting, they say, in solidarity with the Palestinians. On Saturday, a missile launched from Yemen injured more than a dozen people in Tel Aviv when it landed in a public park. Israel warned it would respond with force.
We will continue to cut off the terror arm of the Iranian axis of evil until we complete the job.
The Houthis have vowed to keep up their attacks until the end of the war in Gaza. But the war in Gaza continues, as does the wider regional conflict that it sparked.
Well, the war in Gaza continues as the Israel and Hamas ceasefire talks have stalled yet again, with any hopes of respite crushed, at least for now. This, as the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said, this is only the beginning of Israel's campaign on the Houthis. Israel says that the Houthi group will meet a similar fate to that of Hezbollah in Lebanon and Hamas in Gaza. Both also Iran-backed, both suffered devastating losses to their infrastructure, but also by the killing of their leaders. The Houthis in Yemen have vowed to retaliate. They have vowed to meet escalation with escalation, they say. But the significance of this, of course, is that the tit for tat between the Houthis and Israel at the moment adds to a very complicated and grim regional picture here in the Middle East.
Well, we continue to pray for those there, and of course may peace prevail in such areas. Well, that is it for today. We appreciate you for joining us here tonight. Let's have a look at what made the main stories first.
In our top stories tonight, 27th Banyachigezi Community International Convention, President Museveni emphasizes the importance of wealth creation in Chigezi district, urges residents to focus on income generating activities.
So kuna kozereki baranaje ntumwini imwe ebyente yingi mbirijo ente yingi mzerekera ba Museveni n'abagayiga imwe muri sente z'amate, and that's what actually changed them. Enterprise selection, correct enterprise selection.
Also, embrace unity and cooperation, Chairperson Uganda Professional Science Teachers Union urges during their second annual delegates conference.
We must endeavor to foster the culture of unity and cooperation in both the circle and the union, because unity has been our only strength. Unity has been our only strength.
And from overseas, Netanyahu confirms bomb attacks on Yemen are just the beginning.
Once again, I want to remind you that this is the last Friday of 2024.